Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Guys, if you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Here to discuss, as always, 3 hours on the job, Chris Trio.
Well, Trio is my name, and that's 3. So I like it. I'm fine with that. I don't know.
Do you get it?
Not really.
Oh!
I'm sorry.
Do you get it?
No, honestly.
Okay, well,
I told you I'd fail.
And 6-year veteran of the RPD.
I see.
Returning guest, Nick Matarazzo.
Nick S. Matarazzo.
Razzo,
Even
yeah.
though that's not
Scott.
my middle name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Scott.
dude, I was going to ask.
I should have put the S in your name, too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not my middle name, though. I'm confused.
So it's Leon S.
Oh, S.
Kennedy,
I see.
Which
Guys,
I didn't
I'm
know.
really
In,
behind the
in
ball here on
RE2,
my
you were like a day on the job.
Right, I see.
3 hours.
I see.
I get it.
Right over there.
I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I, like,
That was
led
just
them
too
up to
high-
this.
That was highbrow.
And I'm like, I got a bit, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it may not hit, but I'm committed
It's
to
coming.
it.
The
Yeah.
6 years was where I understood because I've been playing 4 so much.
Yeah, I was like, the 6 years might not be obvious, but there's 6 years between RE2 and RE4.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's great stuff. I love it when we have to explain a joke.
We spent the first 3 minutes explaining a joke that we prepared before.
Exactly. And it worked out very well. I like it. Gooch.
All right.
We're here to discuss RE4
Yeah.
remake.
Yeah. Before we get in, I feel like it's kind of important with this one to kind of be like, what are all our backgrounds on RE4?
Okay,
It's
yeah.
like one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time. Love it, hate it. There's not many people who hate it. I got a hot take. I can't wait for you to hear. But Nick, you're our guest, man. Welcome back.
Absolutely.
What is your background with RE4?
So,
Spill the deets.
Resident Evil's probably like my favorite game series. I mean, if I thought about it, I'd probably think of something else. But every time a Resident Evil game comes out, I'm just like fully obsessed with it. And I wish I could be less of a poser and say that I've played it since I was like 12 years old. And
Yeah, I grew up with it.
yeah. But the
I was there
first
from the
one,
beginning.
Yeah. The first one I ever played, I think, was 7, which I did a podcast on 5 years ago here.
Yes.
Yeah. Really? That was your first one?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
nuts.
I could be wrong. But I was trying to do some like reverse engineering and discover.
Of your
that might be-
timeline.
Yes, because so I listened to the DNN with 7, and I said something like I played 7, and then I went back and played 1 and 4. So
Yeah.
like that makes me think that 7 was my first one, but I'm
That
not
would make
entirely
sense.
sure. Also, if anybody wants, I said this before, but if anybody wants an interesting sort of experiment, sort of my own survival horror experience in real life, go back and watch my original DNN and see how my girlfriend Casey pointed out to me. I used to have a Delco accent, and now I no longer do.
Mine's
I'm
still
gonna
in
have to
there
look
for
back.
sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really,
because if
it's
mine's
honestly
worse or
really
less.
bizarre. Like
Yeah.
when I watched it, I was like, who even am I? If this can happen. I don't know.
Well, dude, that's just shows
I
you,
really like the existential
I was
crisis
watching.
you've had.
I'm gonna
coming
have
up.
a quick side tangent. I was watching the last season of Alone, and there was a woman on there that I believe was from the southern United States, and then she moved to like Manchester or something. So her accent was like a weird mix of like southern twang with like posh British
Yeah,
speak.
yeah.
It was very odd. Your accent really, it can change really quick.
It's
weird.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went to Westchester, I guess.
No, and there's less
like, you
Delco.
barely
I
really
decided
laugh.
I'm
You're
too
not
cool.
hearing as much Delcoese, and when you're like,
Delcoese.
hey, can I get some
Yeah.
water? They're like, what?
I don't think
I'm like, some water?
I don't think I say water.
I
but I'm
definitely
saying,
still say water.
I've never called myself.
Yeah.
I kind of bounce, but I for sure definitely say water a lot.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
I'm enjoying this Delco sidebar. It's
great.
Yeah, so
but
not to
it's
completely derail, but
it's
I
good.
feel like
right at the start.
It's
I think
it's
that
all
was my first RE though too, like main
Yeah.
one that I played. So
Yeah, so 7 I played, and then from that point I was obsessed. Like I played 7, I played it like 5 or 6 times, probably even more, and I did like Madhouse difficulty, and
Yeah.
there was like all the like coins you could get and stuff. I was just so obsessed with that game, and then from there I was like, okay, maybe Resident Evil is actually cool. I don't know. So then I
would've
played
thought?
Yeah.
1 and went full whole hog on that shit, and then I played like kind of release order, but from basically the ones that were easily available to me
Yeah.
That makes
without
sense.
like emulating or buying an old game
got
for
it,
like
got
$100.
it. Yeah.
Right, because RE2, 3
Yeah.
remake were not out at the time. Right?
Yeah.
Those were the missing
It's
keys
funny.
of
Also,
that.
I remember I just saw it, but on the RE7 cast,
You
I
talk
was
about
like,
RE2?
I was like, "There's an RE2 remake in the works. I'm sure that'll never come out." Oh, which is so funny.
You idiot!
3 remakes later.
That's so true.
Yeah,
so funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, man.
So I played 1, 4, played 5 with DNN affiliate Joey Farrell, Joe of the Hook.
One of the original Delco
Joe
Nerd networks.
Taku.
Yeah, the original Delco.
Delco
nerds,
Nerds,
Yeah. And
DNN affiliate. I like that.
I played 6 a little, and that's the one everybody thinks is bad. But I want to give it a second chance.
Can't wait to get to 6.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that more. But
Okay.
anything else?
No. I mean, I'm sure at some point I'm gonna go off about how much I 4 particularly because it's relevant to this conversation. I was obsessed with. Like, I played that game over and over. I unlocked all the stupid bullshit. It's just like such an incredible game, and I'm sure I'll get into it more, but basically that's my history with the series.
I love it.
Trio, you want to tee up?
Yeah, sure. I think 7 was also my first mainline one that I played. That's one of the issues with the couple.
Condensation.
I'll be more careful.
I believe RE7 was the first mainline one that I played when it came out. I don't think I played really any other ones before that. Then RE2 remake came out, and I was like, wow, this looks amazing.
Wow, Leon. Wow.
Leon.
So cool.
Cool stuff, man. Great
Flair,
haircut.
great.
I absolutely adored that game. I knew the police station like the back of my hand. It's got great mechanics. It really kind of is emblematic of what makes a great horror game. They continued on. I played RE4 for the first time, actually, through a rather interesting avenue. Gooch knows. But it was the VR version.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
that's
and
a
I
very
didn't-
unique perspective.
And I didn't actually
Literally
get to finish it, unfortunately, because
Yeah.
I gotta admit, VR,
Yeah, I'm not.
it just won't get, until it's as easy as me just being able to pick up my controller, it's gonna be tough. But I actually know exactly where I got to. I got to the part where you're in the mines and you're about to get on the cart. The cart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
So
far
that's
in.
I realized
Yeah.
that
You
it's
got
so
to
funny
the
because there were
end.
like 3 different times as I was playing RE4 remake where I'm like, oh, this is where I got to. I'm like, oh no, wait, I remember this. Oh, this is where I got to. Oh no, wait, I remember this. But just seeing the lighting differences, the way this game utilizes just, I don't know, all of its hit mechanics, and I guess I'm trying to remember how much of that, like combat mechanics, I should say. I'm trying to remember how much of this is in the original game with the like kicks and like how
I would
how
say
Leon
a
really
lot of
dodges.
it.
Yeah,
it's very much
there
the
are
same mechanics.
yeah.
The general
Kind of
gameplay
silly
is,
like that to a degree. Not
Yes.
silly, but like
No, of
like,
course,
yeah, like-
it's very campy.
It's
like,
good, yeah.
purposefully,
But-
So the way I've been thinking about it is now we have the 3 tiers of remakes. We have Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake. 2 totally different games.
Yeah.
They don't cancel each other out.
Yeah.
The 7 Remake and the original 7 are like 2 totally different experiences.
For sure.
Same game, totally different.
Yeah.
Then you have RE4. They're mostly the same.
Well, I feel like I'd push against that a little bit.
Okay,
but
like
Yeah, I am curious. That's what I'm
RE4
curious to hear
original is still an experience that is different from RE4 remake.
Okay, yeah.
And then you have Dead Space 1-1,
which I
more
think
or less.
complete. Yeah, that absolutely.
But
Yeah,
there
there's the
are
reason.
some tweaks, right? Like, is
No,
not
for sure,
they-
but
Not
like,
enough.
yeah,
So
it's
it's-
basically the same.
There
It's the
are.
same
It
game.
just makes the game 100%
And
better.
gameplay
for sure.
wise,
Yeah.
the exact same game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with RE4, the gameplay is much different.
It is. It is much. RE4's gameplay is much different from its original. You're saying?
Yes.
Was it a freestanding camera like this? Like you said, or was
I mean,
4...
when you shot, you stood there and you had to shoot. and
Okay.
then-
Yeah,
and
so
you
it was.
moved
It was
Okay,
RE4
interesting.
was like one of the first. It was one of the first of the batch of like
third-person
third-person
action,
shooters
yeah.
before it was like figured
Over
out
the shoulder
like
camera.
right stick
Right.
games.
Yeah.
left
Before
stick
Gears of
moves.
War changed the game.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty
That's
much.
what I was curious about. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so it was basically it was free moving camera and stuff, but it was over the shoulder, kind of like God of
I
War
see,
now,
I see.
is now.
Okay.
And it's like you would have to stop, as in God of War, where it's like you stop with the axe and then throw it. You
For
know?
sure.
But it's like you stop and every gun has a laser pointer.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah, so the laser pointer, like in RE4, is on just every gun.
Every gun.
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, where this
I
is
see.
like an equipment. So
Okay. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's an amazing remake. I can't wait to talk more about it. I'm not. I guess I'm somewhat familiar with the 4th one, and the series as a whole. But you know me with my survival horror gooch in general. I love me some of it. And give me
yeah,
more.
yeah. So
And this has been a year for it so
Yeah.
far.
so here's my thing with RE4.
Oh God. No. I'm kidding.
It's this is hot fucking take.
Oh, God, I
somebody's
can't hold
somebody's
it.
gonna want to fucking like spear me.
Oh no.
As in myself.
Yeah, like I think you might
I remember
like, think
last
about
time,
me differently.
last time I was here, I was urging you guys to play
So
Resident Evil 4.
when you did the 7 cast, I had not played a single RE game. So in 2020, I decided finally I'm gonna play this entire series chronologically. Except I'll make a few exceptions. I'm not starting with 0.
yeah.
Big mistake. That would have been a huge mistake. So I did RE1, 0, 2. No wait, I think it was RE1, 2, 3, 0, Code Veronica, Revelations, 4. I got to 4, right? 4
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
you know, I know a lot about 4. I know how this game ends. I know everything about this game just because
Yeah.
of its legacy. And I came out on the other side being like, yeah, it's all right.
I mean,
It's not.
I feel like
it's this game's. I think this game's a little hyped up. And then I played 5, and I'm like, you know what? 5's better than 4.
that's totally wild. That's
So, you know-
as like a single player experience, that's totally wild. But
Yeah,
5 co-op
So
is like
when I played 5, and that's the last one I played. I haven't played Revelations 2, and then I'll get into the modern ones, which I'm looking forward to playing 6 as well.
Yeah.
and if you want to play co-op with that, we'll talk,
Dude, yeah,
we'll
of course,
talk.
yeah.
I don't know when I'll get around to it, but
yeah, that's how I
but with 5, I played with my cousin on this couch, LAN, and it was like the funnest thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is.
Do you think
this
the
is
co-op experience though made it much like? Do you think just the act of having
Yeah.
a couch co-op game with someone in
I
the
think
first time in a while?
I think it kind of skewed me a little bit.
Sure.
But I think everything RE4 does, 5 just does it better. And that's where you're going into the direction of
That's
where
totally
RE4 started getting action oriented. And then RE5 really just like,
leaned into it hard.
yeah, and does it better. And like the first segment of the game, dude, it is guns blazing.
Yeah, you light up like a whole bar
Fucking-
full of people, right?
Oh, dude, a whole village.
I will say, I do feel like I've been hearing that there was this discourse, or even I remember around Resident Evil 7 that they were like, they're bringing this more back to the horror roots. It's much scarier. It's slower pace. You're not these
Because-
crazy things.
And the 4 remake is much more of a horror game than the original.
No, for
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
And that's the thing. I feel like I don't think people realize how maybe action oriented this 4th one was. Like
I think people have forgotten.
Yeah.
In a way.
I think people are like semi-aware. I feel like people love, like, at least from what I've seen and how I feel, like the mixture is what makes for such an
so good.
incredible
I see
game.
what you
Right.
mean.
Yeah.
No, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
It's a good balance.
It does have
Yeah.
a healthy. It does have a healthy mix.
Because there are moments, I mean, it's even amplified in this version to, like, you know, this version is much better with the horror stuff, but 4 is like an action first game. And I think that what makes it so special is like that it's so focused on tension rather than horror. Like, even in every combat scenario, it's so tense because there's
Yeah.
just like so many enemies and you have to stop and shoot. And like, I think that the fact that it's like, you know, they're giving you all of this ammo and you can like suplex people and their heads explode and shit and all this
I
stuff.
love it.
But it's still always kind of scary because
sure.
there's just so many people. And I was
That guy
thinking
who
about-
sneaks up behind you gets you every time.
yeah.
And I will say, yeah, for sure. And one thing this game does have going for it, and it's just a product of the time, is its lighting and its environment and its atmosphere.
Yeah,
in the way of
yeah.
like, when I still remember like walking into the main room in the remake, like the main room of the castle where you first meet the little man. I'm
Salazar.
sorry, with Salazar.
They call him Ramon in this one.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure I like
They
that.
do
like,
say
in-
Salazar here and there, but like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
in the original, it's pretty much just Salazar, which
sure.
I thought was an interesting change.
But you like walk in there and like there's fog rolling out, the
Yeah.
candle lit room, the flickering lights, like it really, an atmosphere can make all of the difference. And when
Yeah.
you can fill out an environment in like such an eerie way, that
Yeah.
goes a long way to also, I think, make it much scarier too. Like when you go into that fucking like that torture basement where I can't remember what the name of this is.
Garrador.
Garrador,
The Garrador
yeah.
is, it's fucking creepy. And
Yeah,
then you
that-
fall
yeah.
through and you're just staring at it and you're like, oh fuck! I just beat that fuck, by the way, on professional. I got the knifing achievement.
I did it yesterday but I'm doing it on assisted because my second playthrough is knives and pistols only and no healing.
Mine is collectibles and professional for right now. This is
Just
the second one in.
before I got here, I just beat my 4th, maybe 5th playthrough.
I love it.
And
Wild.
this one I did no merchant. But
Yeah.
the way I did it was it's New Game Plus and I bought
So
the-
you're kitted out.
Yeah, and I bought the infinite rocket launcher, and I've got Ashley in the like the knight's outfit,
Yeah.
which I don't know if you guys know.
Oh
what
wait,
that-
it actually helps her.
Yes, yeah. If
Oh, wow.
she's
Oh,
wearing
that's funny,
if she's
yeah.
wearing the suit of armor, she can't take damage. So even if they pick her up, like they'll pick her up for a second and then just like
drop,
throw her
yeah.
back down.
That wasn't like
interesting.
that in the original, right?
No, that was yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
So
Wow.
that you just brought up something that I think is kind of a bit of an innate problem for me with this
Ashley?
game, and it's Ashley. And I
Yeah.
will
Let
say,
me-
I just
happen
will
to
say
agree.
the only reason that is, and it's not because of Ashley specifically. I like her actually as a character, and I
Yes,
really love,
I love
their
her as a
interactions.
character.
and-
Yes, yeah,
and that
yeah.
whole part of it.
Much
I
better than
just
the
do
original.
not love, and you see this a lot. You don't see this a lot in video games at all anymore. Are protection missions or escort missions, and I think that does really.
Yeah,
it just unfortunately inherently takes it down just a bit of a notch for me, just because I'm like,
I mean, that was a negative from the original.
sure.
A lot of people are like,
I don't think that's a hot
actually,
take by any means, by the way.
yeah. Nick.
I mean, so let me go on a little bit of a tangent.
Take me on a walk.
Yeah, of
I
course.
wanna hear you.
Yeah. So, outside of everything we've said about how you guys are bringing up critiques, talking about how Resident Evil 4 isn't as good and 5 is better, I'll ignore
I disagree with
that's
on you.
yeah,
Don't
me.
throw that out.
That's just my fucking crazy thing. Yeah,
But let me talk about a little bit more of the context surrounding this game and why it's so special to me. So 4 widely, whether you like it or not, is like possibly the single most influential game of all time.
Correct.
And it's like
Factually correct.
proven
Absolutely.
Yeah.
no further than just everything about this year. Like,
absolutely.
there would be no Last of Us without Resident Evil 4. There would be no Last of Us show that's happening currently now.
sure.
Dead Space remake. I mean, that game is like a direct response to Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
right.
You know, Callisto Protocol.
Absolutely.
Even like last year, some dudes made a remake of Resident Evil 4. Have you guys seen this and heard of it?
the mod.
Yes, they
I'm
like
aware of it.
they lived in Spain and like they were like walking around wherever they were and they were like, oh my god.
Wait. What are you talking about?
Okay, there's a fan HD remake of Resident Evil 4 that came out last year.
But they lived in Spain?
It was by like 3 or 4 people.
That got me off track. Okay,
Yes,
continue.
these
We're talking
people-
about the same thing. I was
yes,
like, wait.
So these people lived in Spain. And
in the same village.
they were like going somewhere, walking around somewhere, and they were like, that looks just like the one texture in Resident Evil 4. And they discovered that Capcom like came to their area when they were making Resident Evil 4, took all these pictures and used them as textures in the
Wow.
game. So then these people like got HD cameras and took pictures of all the textures and put them into the fucking game.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I didn't know that was the background.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
like with all of that, and on top of that, RE4 is like one of the most generous games of all time, both in the sense of like there's so much to do in this game, like so much replayability, so much whatever. And I'm talking about the original, not even the remake.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
It also spawned so many different games. Like Hideki Kamiya was originally the guy making Resident Evil 4, and he made it too action-oriented, and they were like, this is good, but it can't be Resident Evil 4, we gotta do something else. And that spun off and just became the first Devil May Cry game.
Yep.
So that's
Oh,
crazy.
interesting.
That's a pretty like well-known like game dev
I did
thing.
not know that.
Yeah.
That like the original I don't even want a build for Resident Evil 4
Yeah.
was like very different.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they turned it into
They're
Devil
just
May
like,
Cry.
all right,
it was-
this is good, but let's use it for something else.
And it
Yeah.
was even further, like an even more tumultuous, not tumultuous, but
the
arduous.
dog
Yes.
is also a leftover piece of Haunting Ground.
Yes, yeah.
And the
'cause
same model
That's
is
so
in
funny.
that game.
That's
Ashley was
interesting.
supposed to be like this, like sort of like more like mythical character in the game that lived in the
Interesting.
castle.
Yeah.
And Leon like linked up with her at some point. It wasn't exactly like save the president's daughter. And she had like a dog with her, and yeah, that spun off to this like cult classic survival horror game called Haunting Grounds. Yeah. And then like they kept the dog in as a nod. So okay.
Yeah.
All of that aside,
It is an incredibly influential video game.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
on a number
This
of
left
levels.
many people, especially Resident Evil fans, including myself, being like, "Why are they even doing this? Like,
Why are we making it?
Why would they even?"
I said to myself, I'm like, RE4 doesn't need a remake.
Yeah, it's,
I've heard
it's
that too.
Too,
It's
it's still. I mean, gripes aside, it's one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah.
But even if you play it and you don't like it that much, like it doesn't need to be remade. You know, like if you get used to the controls for 1 second, like
figure it out.
It's a very fun game. It's got
forgiving
like
game,
you know very still decent looking graphics. You know, voice cutscenes and whatever. But then I was thinking, how would they even do this? Like, why are they doing it? And then like. If they're gonna do it, how would they even do this? Of course, it's for money, of course. But you know how they would do it, and this is cutting out everything you guys are saying.
Yeah.
They would do it flawlessly, which is what has happened here. This game is fucking amazing.
Well, listen, I will say they took out a lot of Ashley's upskirt shots, and I'm very upset about
Dude,
that.
they did figure that
I was
out.
no.
Yeah,
I saw. I couldn't tell. It was bordering on like, is this just a troll? Like, because this is too funny. It was
No,
a
it's
review
an original
of,
game.
No, I'm joking. It was. I mean, I'm talking about like it was a review of Resident Evil on
yeah.
Steam, and I was like, this is so.
wow, okay,
it was
okay.
just like I think I sent it to the Discord, and I was like, this is either a troll or just someone who was way too much time on their hand, and they just went through, this game sucks, this is why it removed blah 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 blah, and it listed out every single pervy thing that,
Yeah.
like, they removed.
I honestly love how it was done in this one.
No,
And
I think because there is still like a bit of like, I don't know, how old is Ashley supposed to be?
20.
Okay,
She's in college.
so that's okay, fine.
Yeah.
How old is Leon?
He's got to be like.
I would assume in his late 20s, probably
Early
27.
30s,
right?
27. All right, that's
Yeah.
I guess legal. It's fine, but you can definitely tell that there's some like, hey, what's going on between the two of them? And
Yeah.
but that just comes down to also
Yeah.
they do have great chemistry as characters, and it works very well.
But in like
In this, it's much.
I still
yeah.
think like RE4's weird early O's perviness is like important.
Dude,
I mean, I
And
feel
like
even know
for
it's
the time, like again,
that
it's
was
like,
that was something I really feel like. I feel like I talk about how Resident Evil 4 is an amazing game, but that is one thing that when I go back and play it, I'm still like,
it ages very poorly.
like,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Like when Louise talks about like, oh, I see
The ballistics.
I see the president's daughters
Yeah.
packing ballistics. Like that's such an iconic line that like everyone knows
So,
about.
yeah,
and I'm not saying it's okay.
yeah.
No, but it's
the
just-
thing is like, no, the thing
It
is,
needed to be changed.
the
too.
thing is like.
No, I hear
That
you. though.
I'm very happy that the original game, like, I'm very happy that this was not a replacement of sorts.
Right,
You know, like
exactly.
you
the
can
original.
still go purchase
Yes.
the original.
Yeah, yeah.
it's
And
accessible.
Capcom is so good with that kind of stuff.
That
like
is
making
really
their
good.
games available.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff.
really are.
And I like that the original was like this campy, stupid action movie with like big, tough dudes and
Yeah,
like, you know, screaming girlish Ashley. That's like they're making.
It
look
leans heavily
perverted.
into those tropes. Yeah, for sure.
And I love that they've taken it for this new one and updated it in a way that is still ridiculous. It's still
I
campy.
agree.
It's still funny, but it also like if you played Resident Evil 2 remake and then went straight to this one, it wouldn't feel like so
jarring.
jarring.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think it's handled extremely well, and I do think that's a big thing of that you can still have the original experience. They didn't just take it off the thing. I know that was a big issue when the GTA trilogy remaster came out. They took down all of their other versions of it off of like market
Yeah,
Final
files.
yeah.
Fantasy did
And
that
like people
with
were like,
their
"What the
Pixel
fuck?"
remasters
Yeah,
as
like
well.
you're giving me this shitty version, and then I can't even play the original one still.
Yeah.
Game preservation, we need it.
Yeah.
But no, it is true. It's very interesting to just see how you can take something that is, especially from the early 2000s, because that is such a I mean, I guess
Such a
every
specific
decade
time
is,
of period,
but it's
yeah.
so specific, and the humor was definitely much more raunchy in some ways, and
Yeah.
then also just much more like.
And they're
for
also
lack of a better
and they're
term,
also
not politically
Japanese.
correct, but yeah, and that's the other
something
thing too.
to
So-
also consider.
so they're
Very
almost
different
taking a
sense of
caricature
humor.
of American culture at the time. I
Yeah,
assume, to a
it
degree,
was
too.
definitely a much different time for
For sure.
sure. And I think it's still like, you know, if you go back and play it, it's such a cultural product, you know, like
Yeah.
That- of
like,
course,
Yeah,
yeah. You
it's
can't help but
so
accept it.
silly. And it's so like those cutscenes in the original will always be funny.
For
and
sure.
good, you know, like and I love how it was done in this one, how like they kept that sense of like weird, campy jokiness.
Yeah, like in the first mission, the bingo line.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Great. Like where'd everybody
No,
go?
it is good.
Bingo.
Yeah, they knew what to keep for sure.
I
And
agree.
They knew what to change.
Who made
up.
these again? It's Capcom, but like it's just their studios. Like
no,
that-
yeah, it's just
it is
Capcom.
just
It's one of their
okay,
studios.
okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I didn't know if it was
and the
like,
big
I don't know enough about the internals.
and it's their
Yeah.
own engine, right? This is the
RE
RE engine, yeah.
which doesn't stand for Resident Evil.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It
But
doesn't.
I will say, and I don't think this is anything crazy to say. I've been seeing people talk about this a lot. You can see the clear inspiration of Village here.
Oh,
from
yeah,
this. Like,
yeah,
like,
of course.
I really did not realize how it's kind of made me want to go download the third person DLC for
Yeah.
Village and maybe give it a new
I
playthrough.
played that, and it's like fun and cool, but
Sure.
it's clearly like if you're going, especially if you're going from this or Resident Evil 2 or 3 or whatever to that, it's obviously more just like tossed together.
Yeah.
But it's totally playable. Like
No,
you
for
can
sure.
play through the whole game like that, and it's really fun.
You're saying the third person view? It does feel pretty. Have you
Yes,
tried it?
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
That's
Okay.
what I was talking about.
All right, I
Sorry.
see. No, it's okay. I didn't know
just
if you were
can't
talking
look
about
at
the game
Ethan-
itself.
you
I'm
just
like,
can't look at
I was like,
Ethan
really? I
Winters'
thought.
Yeah, that's so funny. In the
Stupid face.
third, like, have you guys seen that in the third
Yeah.
person? You can't turn the camera to look at his face.
But I
for
thought
some
they released the picture of his face.
There's like all this weird.
No.
They've put out a picture.
They have
you
actually,
see his face.
Yeah,
you
do.
really know what his face looks like.
But for I guess at the time they were still like weirdly
Fucking
obscuring
weird.
his face. I don't know.
Fucking
I
weird.
honestly kind of like it. I think it's funny.
It's so funny because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's not like he's like, holy shit, it's Leon.
Yeah,
or, like,
yeah.
it's
Well,
like
and I
someone's
do
face.
think
I don't know.
with horror games, there is something to being in first person and not really knowing your character and having
Yeah.
them be silent. It really makes it feel more like it's you.
But he's always loudmouth.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're right though
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
he's always talking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's always saying some.
it is
stupid
interesting.
One thing I really like about RE4 that I think needs to be in all the other RE games is the knife system.
Oh yeah,
I think they really like one thing about the older RE games, like your knife is like good for maybe like 2 encounters and then you like never use it
Ting.
again.
Yeah,
it's not powerful,
dude.
and you don't like in the first RE game, like the knife to like stab somebody in the neck was like a different knife, not your like attack knife.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm glad it's like, okay, like you have a knife, a base knife, you can take it out to hit with it. You can, you know, if you get caught by a zombie, you can, zombie. I was gonna call them like Las Plagas
And
and be like
infected, but,
technical. You know, you can grapple out of them, stab them in the neck, and then you have durability. I'm like, this is awesome.
No,
Yeah,
I agree. I
it's
think
really
they
good.
really found a happy medium, and of course the crafting comes back, and that's pretty much the same.
No,
Yeah,
and
there's
was
like
that
a-
in the original game too? Crafting
Well,
system.
so
it's
it's
in
like
different games.
Yeah, I know it was in
well,
2.
no, it was in 4, but it wasn't
Is it
like
in 4?
it wasn't like the crafting system. Like it was just typical Resident Evil where you combine certain things. Like there wasn't.
Interesting, okay.
I don't believe there was any gunpowder, any
And
crafting
stuff like that,
of
yeah.
In different, it's funny. In different games, it's like different. Like in like RE1, you can craft. Like you have like
like
gunpowder
there's
and stuff,
gunpowder. You
No,
can
no,
make
But
like
like
grenade launcher.
RE5, that's gone. And is it in the original 4? Are you sure?
No, so 4 you can. All I'm saying is that in 4 you can combine herbs.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
That's in
that
there.
makes sense.
But
Yeah,
in,
and that's in
in
all
the
of them.
original 4, it's more arcadey. There's more just ammo pickups all the
Yeah,
time.
I
There's
did
no,
see some people somewhat complaining about like adding
Yeah.
crafting in, but I'm like, I feel like
Nah, I
that's
think it's cool.
I
To
feel like that's
me, like,
inherent
as a
to the
survival horror, right.
genre. I feel like that's become a major part
To
of it.
me, like I've seen a lot of people complain about how they've taken a lot of like the soul of the original out, and how like a lot of the villains are like a
Did you
little.
see- do you know who Crobat is?
Yeah, I do.
Did you
yeah.
see his video?
I didn't watch it
Soulless
yet.
versus like Soul versus Soulless, and I'm just like, he's just basically it's just comparisons of the game. There's no
Yeah.
opinion, and I'm just like, I see his point. There are some parts that are like,
More
I think
bombastic
better,
I
better
think
in
things like
the
that.
original, but I'm like, it's a two-way street here.
To
Like,
me, like I feel like if you're approaching the game as like Resident Evil 4 is the best thing ever created, and like
Nothing will ever
you
be
know,
able to touch it in the in a
yeah,
million
and it's
years.
like, you know, this game and the way it is perfect, and there's no point in doing a new take on it, then of course you're really not going to like it. But to me, like, this clearly feels like a totally different take on the game.
Yeah.
And like using the same ideas and the same characters and a lot of the same like emotional moments to make a really excellent game that fits closer to like RE2 and
and
things
that
like
just
that.
plays so well.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I
it
mean,
play that's the thing. I mean, so
It feels so good.
yeah, like
It really
I
does.
feel like I would consider this game to be like in the small pool of like mechanically perfect games that I've ever played.
I
Like,
will agree, and I will actually add, in my opinion, the Dead Space remake to that. In the way,
Really?
I genuinely like these two games. They're like butter.
It
to
reminds
play.
me
Yeah.
of. It reminds me of. You're gonna like this one. It reminds me of that feeling like I still always return to MGS5.
I knew he was gonna say
Because
that.
MGS5, it's like
I
when
agree with you
Snake
there.
when Snake crouches, it's like instant.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
and when he goes,
I remember us
Run,
playing
and the
that.
roll.
the controls.
It's
of,
so snappy
Yeah.
and just great.
It's excellent. Like the lock on to like when you pull out the gun, you can go first person and look down the iron sights. Like MGS5, it just feels like just a perfectly designed game, and I feel the same way about 4.
No, I
like Resident
completely
Evil 4.
agree with you.
Like it's you know, Leon does exactly what you want him to do.
Yes.
And the better you get at the game, especially with like the addition of the knife stuff, like you're saying, it just
Yeah.
feels like you have so many options at your hand. And
on
like
playthrough 2, dude, I'm a fucking pro.
No, it's so funny.
You
The
turn
first
into
one I
this,
did
like,
have a bit of
machine.
issue, but you do. It's so true. And
Yeah.
I will say I appreciate that I could play professional on New Game Plus, like with
Yeah.
all my stuff. There's little
I
things
have
like
to
that.
do. I'm trying to do everything, and at some point, I'm dreading. I have
It's
to
a
do.
tough platinum. I was looking at it.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be
most
one.
RE game platinums are pretty.
I may end up getting it
involved.
maybe over the course of the next 2 years or
Yeah.
so. Who knows?
I
But-
want to do. You have to, in order to get the chicken hat, which is also MGS5. You have to do professional, but you have to get an S+ rank. and I think the chicken hat gives you infinite ammo or something.
Yeah.
You have to get an S+ rank, which means you have to beat the game in less than 5.5 hours and save less than 15 times.
Oh my god.
And on professional, and it has to be a new game. It can't be New Game Plus.
Yeah.
So like that's gonna be. I tried to. I played standard and then hardcore, and then I tried to launch into a fresh new game professional.
Was that a rude awakening?
Yes, dude. That shit is so
I'm not
fucking
like
hard.
necessarily.
That's
looking
why I
forward
just.
to that.
That's why
Yeah.
professional. I was like, I'm
'Cause
getting
I-
this out of the way. I'm gonna do 2 easy things here. I'm gonna
I was
get
like, I don't want to
collectibles.
jump into professional. I'm like, I want to do like, I'll like jump down to assisted and do like, frugalist, which is no herbs, and the knife and pistol one. I'm like, that'd be fun, and I'm actually having fun upgrading just my pistols and just using those. And I'm literally using. I have all my pistols on me.
Yeah.
So I'm just like swapping out all these pistols.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't even think about that. How you could go multiple pistols.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I got the red 9 for like, okay, my single target. I got one guy. I'm just gonna pepper him down. It's got the most damage, and then I got a group Punisher comes out, and then like. The Blackhawk, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's like the smaller one.
No, it's Blacktail.
Blacktail. Yeah, for like moving around, more vulnerability, or maneuverability. I'm like, I do like the there are more weapons in this game from the original, and the pistols are definitely expanded.
Is the
I think-
crossbow new?
I think that
Yes.
the crossbow's new.
Those mines are very
really
helpful.
like the crossbow.
Yeah.
Good early game, obviously kind of bad late game.
Well, it's really I use it mostly for mines.
I
Yeah,
actually
that's
didn't.
really what,
I
like,
actually in all my playthroughs still have not bought it.
Dude,
And
it's good. It's cool. I like it. Like
Yeah.
again, I think on professional, that's where that thing comes in handy.
Yeah.
because you get your.
I've
ammo
seen,
back.
like,
And
another
you gotta be
thing-
skilled with it.
For some reason, this game really makes me think of Metal Gear a lot in the sense of
Really?
like, well, just in not in gameplay, but in the sense of like the feeling of how like I could play this game over and over again and discover new things. Like there's so many
Sure.
little
Yeah.
details and stuff
Well,
like
and
that.
I love how arcadey this game is.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt you.
you're right. But yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the reason. Also, it's like going again and again and getting like an S+ rank on this difficulty.
Absolutely.
Trying to do it
Your
without doing
wrap-up
certain
screens at
things.
the end of each chapter.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like.
I like those.
One
do
thing
too.
that I really like about it, and feels very like Japanese in design, where it's just like little details that add up to make it such an amazing game. The fact that the cutscenes are real time now, and the fact that like there's so many like built-in skips for like speedrunning and stuff like that. Like I don't know
No,
if you
that
guys
is-
have seen that stuff.
I
but-
haven't seen the. Oh yeah, speedrunning generally, yes, not for remake.
So
Yeah.
killer,
there's
it's
like
killer.
there's so many cool things like if for like the Chainsaw Sisters when it's like the 2 chainsaw women,
Yeah, yep.
you can just like load that wall up with attachable mines.
I did that. I loaded one, and then I loaded 2 more in front of it
So,
as they were
yeah.
coming out, and then I just.
And
I
it's
actually,
like,
once
as
I
soon
figured out
as
how
they
to
come
beat
out.
them,
So
I fucked their day up.
It
was so
they stay
good.
there through the cutscene when they break down the
Yeah,
wall.
there's tons of stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah.
there's
Really?
also like you if you have the rocket launcher, you can like like there's a part.
I haven't bought the RPG yet. By the way.
haven't
Oh,
either.
it's really the
Yeah.
infinite launcher, dude. You gotta do when you're like at the end, or if you're just trying to have fun, you gotta do infinite launcher. Ashley in the knight's armor run because it's like I did it and I beat it in like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
because you
you're
just like
blowing
launch
through shit.
everybody.
One
How do you
shot
get the chicken
bosses.
hat?
You have to do S+ on a new game professional.
Oh, okay.
Which is insanely hard.
I think that's a trophy, right?
But the infinite launcher is not.
It's 2 million.
Yeah, it's like
Pestis.
it's separate
Oh,
item.
wow.
You don't need to
Okay,
be wearing that.
interesting.
You know what I
Yeah.
found out? Pestis was the currency in Spain before the euro.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
I would
that's
not
crazy.
have known that either.
Yeah, while I'm playing, I ask Google. And it like occasional things. Sometimes I like hear a word, I'm like, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, what is this currency? And it's like, oh. Yeah, I forgot the euro's kind of like
the thing now.
newish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before there was like a currency anyway.
No, but I do think gameplay wise, like you said, it's like butter. It really does
Yeah.
feel so good. I didn't really run into many glitches. I don't know about you guys.
There's okay. I ran into.
I don't
one
know if
glitch.
this is a glitch, but
Well, no. Well, I still also wanted to say something about there's another skip also that
Oh,
I
yeah,
found
sorry.
to be so cool. Do you know the part where it's when you like not first get into the castle, but you're like midway through the castle, and you're in that one area where it's like small-ish open world design where there's like 3 different ways you can go. It's
Yeah.
like the room with like where you fight the knights and Ashley's throwing the
Yes.
flame,
Right.
stuff like that. The one room is just like a straight up combat room, and you go across that bridge, and then you get the head, but it's like they pull that lever and the bridge goes down.
Yes,
You know?
I remember that exactly. Yeah.
If you just toss a grenade to where they pull the lever, and then run forward. The cutscene will go, and then they'll just fucking explode, and then you can just go grab the head and run back.
No,
That's
it is.
so
There,
funny.
there are little tricks you can do.
And also as well, I mean, not to just list tricks, but like there's in the beginning, if you're doing New Game Plus and you want to skip the
bell.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can just
that
shoot
one
the
I think
bell.
got found out. So if you can snipe the bell in the beginning and then it just skips everything.
That's in the original
Which,
as well.
which part in the when
In the
In
beginning
the-
village, you know how the bell goes off and they get called away.
Oh,
yeah, in the
interesting.
in the distance, you can't do it with a pistol, so you can't do it on New Game.
Oh,
but
wow, that's
in-
actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could take out all the cannons with just barrels too in the
Yeah.
castle. when
There's
you're going
also
up there.
like you can shoot the thing that makes the cannon go up during that part. You can
shoot it from the inside.
Yes, yeah. There's just so
Or
many.
from the outside, I should say.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
just
because
at the
there's like
down-
there's like a
cracks.
window grate, and
Yeah.
you can just shoot through it, and then it's like you can just go straight
Yeah.
to it. Yeah, there's
that's
so
a,
many.
That's a nice skip.
There's
That
a
takes
lot
time,
of
yeah.
there is a lot of little things that little tricks you can use for sure, and I love that they embrace them.
Yeah.
They really.
So when you brought up glitches, I don't know if this is a glitch or what the hell's going on, but I think the lighting in this game is absolutely terrible.
I think everyone.
Yeah,
I think every
so-
once
so
in a while, I actually
don't
now you're
know-
saying that
Yeah.
I do remember.
I don't know
do
what's
remember
going on, but like you know how like when you go between a light and a dark place, like
Dude, I'm sorry. It's a PS4 game. That's why. Continue. No.
like your color like adjusts to being outdoors and indoors.
Yes.
I can't. That happens so often in this game where you like it's not even like I think a lighting
I
difference, but
wonder-
like. You know what room it
Like
happens
when you
in?
go from light to
Before the
dark
zealot,
areas?
You know how you walk into that room with the zealot and there's that like weird Las Plagas head thing and they're all like dead sitting there.
Yes,
You
yeah.
walk into that moment and then like the game like gets darker and then you can see all the black around and it's like,
I
it looks
wonder
like
if that's
inky.
like HDR settings. or
Dude,
something.
I had
It
that
is.
issue
Yeah.
with Dead Space.
Really?
I would walk into really bright spaces and then walk into, or like vice versa, and walk into a dark space, and like it would take a while for the
Oh, the switch
ambient to light.
wasn't the switch in this just like instantly changes. It's not
Oh,
gradual.
really?
And I'm like,
Oh, interesting.
Like, dude,
don't know.
I'm like tempted. Like, I wish we had the time. I'd like boot it up and show you. But I'm
Yeah.
just like, because dude, so many times I was messing with the lighting. I'm like, what is going on? And I found out that other people are also having this issue, and it is something with the HDR.
Listen,
Yeah,
I
that's
do
crazy
think this
good.
game looks gorgeous in a lot of ways, and I do think the lighting, when it works, looks amazing. But I definitely do like it's like the hair has a bit of a weird sheen to it, and like certain there's like weird
there's a
like
hair
lip
setting.
textures.
Yeah.
With, oh, is there?
There's a hair setting.
There's a weird
This-
setting, and there's this new. It's like not new technology, but it's like their technology in their engine. I forget. It's called like real hair
Yeah.
or something
so
like
like
that.
turns it like I guess,
More like actual flowy,
right?
Yes,
And
yeah,
you can turn
yeah.
that
and it
off.
makes it
Yeah.
shinier.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
by
I have
default
that-
off.
Oh,
But
okay.
maybe it's
But
on,
like I don't know.
know.
It was just like little, and even like I don't know. Leon has like super weird purple lips and things like that. Like there were certain weird things where I just like. It wasn't. It was
Yeah.
like just barely not hitting those kind of graphical fidelities. I'm sorry, I keep bringing it up, but Dead Space, man, going back and walking
Dude,
through the
we
fucking
talked about it.
Ishimura,
Yeah.
I've
and
never-
like the flickering lights going through the fog, and the grates are lighting up, and like
Dude,
it's
like,
so insane.
The blacks have never been blacker.
No, genuinely.
like that,
it's
like
truly-
I'm just like, oh my god.
and I do think that is an
can't see a
issue of
fucking
it
thing.
being. It's locked on that old system still to a
Yeah.
degree. Like they
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
I think
no,
it's that,
It's
and I
something
think
to
that
call
just
out.
partially
we
does.
tried it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that really does kind of just maybe I don't know. I
Was,
don't know anything about.
is
game
Dead
design.
Space Unreal Engine 5?
Yes, and it was completely current gen.
Yeah,
I guess you
that's
could say.
probably also because it's like the RE engine is like Capcom's own thing, which
And
is
it's
proprietary.
Yeah, which is always like fraught with
Issues on
yeah,
its
because it's
own,
like
yeah.
everybody, especially now, Unreal Engine 5 is like fucking everybody.
Well, CD
is using
Projekt
it.
Red just said they're going to switch from theirs.
Yeah,
right?
everybody-
to the Red Engine or
They're
whatever.
doing the Witcher remake.
yeah,
and
Yeah.
yeah.
that's gonna be a good remake. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
So yeah, I feel like maybe it's just the Unreal Engine lighting system. Is
maybe
better,
I don't know,
and-
but again, I will say there were spots in this, like that main room that I walked into, where I was like, oh fuck, this is cool.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
There is some great ambiance, but
Yeah, I mean,
just
the
that little
game's
further.
out.
the
atmosphere
only
is great.
the only glitch I actually have run into, which was crazy, I filmed it. Like I took a video, filmed it. I took a video.
You had like a crank camera.
I took a video. It was during the part with Luis where you're like you're fighting in the house and you just have to hold them off until Ashley's like, "Come on, Leon."
Yes.
That part, I
Is
was
Ashley in here? I'm sorry. I didn't know.
I'm pretty skilled at the Ashley.
Stop playing that recording. Okay, continue.
So I was towards the end of it, like I killed the one guy, but then I was playing on professional and I had such low health, and somebody came and killed me, and it did like a death animation where like they like snapped my neck and whatever. But then it went like into a wall, and then I was like, okay, I'm waiting for I'm like at the point where I'm so annoyed because I just did the whole thing and it died, and I'm waiting for it to go to the next part. But then I'm like it doesn't say like game over, and then I turn the camera and Leon is just like still standing, and I'm like, what is
like,
fucking
what's
happening?
going
And then
on?
I'm like trying to interact with stuff. It won't let me interact with anything. I can't take my guns out and stuff. But
I
then
had a lot of glitches in Dead Space. Like
oh
that.
really?
My
Yeah.
second
Like that.
playthrough has been worse, which has been weird.
Sorry, I didn't mean to-
No, that's all right. But then it just ended. Like it
it
ended
fixed
as if
itself.
I succeeded. Like it
Oh,
was
okay.
like the cutscene played and then it was like end of chapter. So I was
wow.
like,
Yeah, I
don't
didn't
know.
have any glitches like that.
Yeah,
at
me
all.
neither.
Yeah.
Really, I think there
That
might
was
have been
my
like
only
one
one.
small thing that I had to maybe reload a checkpoint for. But what console did you guys play on?
I
Or
did
did you-
PS5.
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 I did really love the touch of. And some games use it better than others, but the
Yeah.
microphone on your controller with the like checking your like he'd pull out the gun and you could just and
Oh,
like
there's
stuff like
his John Wick.
it's good stuff.
yeah.
Oh, dude, when
Bullshit.
he pulls
Yeah,
it out.
like
There's
when,
a
when
lot
he's
of,
leaning
like-
there and he's
He
like,
does it with one hand. It's so
I honestly really love like as
It's
like
that
as
little
like a
stuff.
Resident Evil nerd. Like I feel like I love how in this game it's a little bit more serious. Like I mean, it's so ridiculous, but it's
it
like
takes itself a little bit more seriously
Yes.
while being ridiculous.
yeah,
still.
and it's like they give those little details to really make it seem like Leon has over the past 6 years trained in the army and become like a professional.
sure.
you
I
know?
want to segue into talking about the story because we really haven't talked about any of it.
Yeah,
and
I was
we've
gonna
been
ask.
focusing more on
And-
gameplay and
and-
stuff.
Yeah, I think like when we start out and we're getting the same kind of background that Leon after Raccoon City kind of becomes like a very important person, and the government. And it's like it's in the original. Like they basically force him to become a special agent because he has so much experience from Raccoon City.
You're gonna
and I
help
like how
America.
like they immediately kind of like put this like he's like traumatized and
Yeah.
kind of changed from this experience, which makes sense. And I think
Absolutely.
in the original that is also the same thing, except he's like
He's
A
just
bit more
a player.
He's like
Yeah.
a debonair princeling.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, he's like, ah, yeah.
yeah. In the
Yeah.
original, he's just like
Just
well,
breaking
yeah.
hearts.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hunnigan, just like Snake, want to go out later? Like as soon as I
So
talk to him,
stupid.
over the codec or whatever the fuck they
Yeah.
call it in the original. Yeah,
I would've-
and like and we start out with that, and like the narrative's kind of the same. Like Ashley's relation, like I like how scared Ashley is, and her screaming is very like realistic. Like I buy it.
I definitely love like the that's the thing that I wish I like took more notes when I first played it, because I'm like mush brain on my 5th playthrough like doing
like,
like
exactly,
infinite
yeah,
launcher.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the first
Just
time I
took-
played it, I was blown away by how much I loved the characters and how they were all handled.
Yeah,
like, I feel
I
like
agree.
Ashley especially like
Maybe
I feel like
besides Ada.
yeah, well, people have problems with that. I still think
Yeah.
what's there is cool, but certainly the voice acting is interesting. I don't think it's.
I think everyone agrees that they did not direct Ada's new voice actor.
Well, so the thing is, I honestly am not as harsh as others. Like the first time I played it, I was like, that's a little
fine,
weird.
but it's just
yeah.
like
I
she's so
do
like
think
monotone.
to that you brought up audio. I do think some of the audio was a little fucked. When I was
The
playing with
controller
my,
speaker, I like the codec in there, but I'm like, why is Sadler's talking? In
I
Yeah,
turn
I know.
off the controller speaker for every game
such
as
a-
soon as I
like
hear
I said,
it.
I liked it for those little things for like my gun clicks. But yeah, when it was pulling up that stuff, I remember I was sitting.
I would put it against
my
my
roommate
ear.
was sitting on the couch like laying on his phone, and and it was coming out of my speaker, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "It's part of the game." He's like, "Oh, okay." But I had another thought I was gonna say, and I lost it.
It's okay. Can I
Yeah,
take over?
go, yeah.
Yeah, like so. I think like Louise is kind of the same. I like his death much more.
yeah.
It's much more meaningful that it's fucking. I was about to call
Krauser.
Cruiser.
Cruiser.
Kruger. It was Krauser. Instead of like just the what's the fucking.
Sadler.
No, the worm. Oh yeah, no, it is Sadler.
Yeah,
Kills him.
yeah.
It's not his like Salazar's right hand guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Luis is the same, Ada's kind of the same, Krauser's the same, except they kind of like give you more context into
His relation
with Leon. Yeah, because in that original it's like, oh yeah, it's there. Dark Side Chronicles in like a few years. We'll get to it. Like they didn't like flesh that out.
I like that as well. Like I like that. So the original I love because older Resident Evil games have that same kind of like again Metal Gear feel where it's like you're playing when you play a Metal Gear game for the first time, you're like, this is awesome and it feels like a movie, but like I feel like I missed 14 PSP games and like whatever.
Did you
And-
play Peace Walker? Guess not.
Everyone's speaking really cool. cool, but I'm just confused.
Yeah, but you still love it because it's like so charming and weird, and it feels like a weird action movie. And that's how I feel about a lot of old Resident Evil games. But I love this take of the new ones where they're kind of like fleshing things out just enough where it feels like its own actual story. Like it's not like Krauser comes out of nowhere. I mean, Krauser still kind of comes out of nowhere, but it feels a little bit more.
There's a bit more built in, especially just with the notes and stuff. You're finding. And even just what he's saying to him, you're like, all right, he was his captain. Okay, he got he betrayed the U.S. country, the United States, for some reason. The U.S. Constitution.
He betrayed the paper.
And there's that opening cutscene as well, like where he's like, I'm a cop or whatever.
That was my point.
And there's that little scene where he's like fighting Krauser, like they're like training.
Yeah, training. What?
It works totally fine in this, but I did have a thought while this is starting. I'm like, they're only sending one guy.
It's a president's daughter, dude. It's a special operation.
I know, but like I don't know, maybe like a team of 6. I don't know.
Well, he's not just
I get it. He equals maybe 6 guys, but maybe send 2 of them.
Leon S. Kennedy,
I don't
one
know.
of the sole survivors of Raccoon City.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, it is, but it is such like an escape to New York plot or something like
that's
that. And I think it's fine. It works.
Yeah,
it really does. It's fine.
It is funny. I feel like that's what
even when the helicopter guy comes in at the end. But
oh my god,
that's one
of my favorite. That's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like. That's all part of the charm to me.
For sure.
Is how it feels like a movie. Like it feels like a stupid movie.
Like
that you would watch.
action flick that's just insane.
But it's like I like that it still retains that like
charm?
I've
from the original.
And I've always loved how the plot is like if you explained it in like 2 sentences, it's like the funniest thing ever. It's like Leon has to go save the president's daughter who's being like captured by like,
a cult.
Yeah, in Spain. And like
in Spain.
Yeah, that's the what?
And like I feel like this one still has that, but Ashley is like it's this beautiful balance where Ashley and Leon's like relationship and dynamic and them as individuals is like still stupid and still funny, but it's just like nuanced enough where you can actually get
I got invested.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like,
I think
sorry,
no, you go.
Okay, that scene in the room.
Yeah.
After, dude, I love the scene with the knife on her neck.
Yeah.
Love that scene.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit. And she gets scared and runs away, like probably a 20-year-old woman would if she just lost control of her mind and tried to kill herself. And she runs away, and you find her later, and she's just like sobbing, and they kind of have this moment, and like after that, like their relationship really, like she starts flirting with him, and Leon's like, nah, not in this game.
I like that she has way more like autonomy in this one, and she's way more of like an actual person. Like I feel like
she's not damsel.
Yeah, for sure. Like
she is.
She still kind of is, but it's like there's room.
She has a bit more agency.
I feel like there's room for that without it being like demeaning and like
not
like
demeaning,
actually sexist. You know,
I agree.
Like
No,
I feel
I
like
agree with you.
she's still like kind of like naive,
self-sufficient, naive.
Like I love how you find her phone and it's got like the sorority, alpha, beta, whatever.
A nice razor too.
Yeah, it's very time
Also,
accurate.
You can't get more 2004 than Leon S. Kennedy's haircut.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Absolutely
It's so
love it.
amazing.
And thank you for calling him Leon S. Kennedy.
You're welcome. But one thing I just want to bring back up the audio. Well, I tried playing it with with my Pulse headphones, and it would be really annoying because you'd hear something and I'm like, oh, it's right behind me. No, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm hearing this thing where I'm like, where is this enemy that's around me?
Really?
And because I was hearing it, I just don't think a lot of the directional stuff works super well.
So would you blame that more on the PlayStation
Pulse?
headset?
But and I don't know. No, I think it was the game because even some dialogue was sounding not so great. Like especially right up on because I was using that for. Dead Space, and the 3D audio in that is fucking amazing.
Check out our
I'm sure that it's not like the best. Like I feel like it seems like Capcom is not entirely focused on the whole technical. Like they're like fun first in a lot of these instances.
I would agree.
But like. That's interesting because I also was playing with like the Sony headphones.
Yeah,
and I feel like
it was
we're both pulsed up.
Sony Pony Pulsers.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was like mind blowing.
No,
but there was definitely for me there wasn't any like misleading.
I don't know. Sometimes I was just getting confused. That might have been on my own.
I mean, it could be. I'm not here to say that it's like the most impeccable.
I also
audio
only
design.
used it like twice. So that
really?
could be it. So I don't. Maybe if I go back again.
So
and
Nick, you got full playthroughs with the Pulse.
Yeah. Oh, so I mean, it was on and off. Like, I feel like when I first started playing it, I'd say my first playthrough was pretty much entirely Pulse, and then it was like on and off for others. Yeah, it was Pro Pulse.
I'm a big Pulse guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge Pulse.
Interesting.
fan.
No, that's good. Okay, no, that's good to know because maybe I'll have to give it another go again. I usually tend to not use my headphones unless I have someone around, or I really did like just certain games. Yeah, they do hit.
Yeah, I've become like kind of a
You
headphone
want to immerse
user.
yourself in it a little.
Yeah, I
yeah.
feel
Dude,
like it
I want
helps
that
me get super
soundbar
into
blowing
it.
this house apart.
I had like
Ask my mom.
yeah, I had like speakers for a lot of it, and it still worked fine. But I thought the headphones were really good. I don't know. I feel like I'm incredibly biased. Like I'm just
With
like
headphones?
it's good. Like
we'll have to
anytime,
get you.
I've heard nothing but
anything-
good things about it. So.
No, not like specifically the audio. I'm just saying
headphones in general?
No, like
Things,
about
yeah.
Resident
Yeah,
Evil 4.
yeah.
I feel
It's
like
tough
I'm
to
just.
have, yeah,
I feel like I'm very biased. Like, and I feel.
But
do I have
admit,
permission
no.
to
I
be?
don't really think so.
Do I have permission to be rude?
Absolutely.
Why not?
Do I have permission to be downright hateful on the DNN?
I mean, as long as it's not towards a race, we will get canceled.
Yeah, like, about what?
If
The
it's
whole
towards
time-
a fandom, that's
No,
fine.
The whole
me spew
time
some
it
hate.
is towards a fandom.
That's fine. I
The
appreciate
whole
it.
time
Fucking
I
lay 'em
was playing Resident Evil 4 remake, I was thinking to myself, "Oh my god, this is like my Final Fantasy VII remake, except
like,
it's
jerking
actually
off.
good.
Oh,
Except this game is actually fun and good."
eat it!
No,
You suck, Gooch.
No.
So
No.
I not
That's
not
too much. You've gone too far, Nick.
You lit the
Not
table on
to-
fire. Gooch thought he had a hot take at the
Final
beginning
Fantasy
of
VII
the...
was like a life-changing
not
experience.
to like switch gears to that, because I mean I still have so much more. I could talk about Resident Evil 4 forever, but to me, like, I played Final Fantasy VII the original for the first time last year, so I don't have as much of the nostalgic
I mean,
attachment.
I thought 7 was overrated until
Really?
I played it for the first time in college on PC. Not the place to play it.
Yeah.
I hate those PC ports. I played on PS4.
I played on
right before the
Switch.
remake came out. Much better experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved
walked
the,
back my overrated comment. I'm like, okay.
I definitely loved the first one, like the original, and I don't know. I don't want to get into it because it'll be a whole extremely long
Yeah.
tangent.
But I
But,
get
I
what
was
you're saying,
I was definitely not a fan of
Good.
the.
I was
but,
like, I don't want to have to cut him off.
But like for me, this must have been, and I feel like this relates more to the story because I know we're trying to get back to that. But like, I feel like to me, this is how this was my Final Fantasy VII remake. I've never had a remake
yeah, that's awesome.
that like was about something I was so nostalgic for. Like I was popping off for the dumbest shit. Like when I played the demo, I leading up to this
I didn't
game.
play the demo.
Oh really?
I didn't either. I was like,
Didn't
I'll
feel
save,
the need.
I'll
I
save
played-
my V card for this. No,
I played the demo because I was kind of convinced I wasn't even gonna get it, honestly, even though I'm a huge
whoa,
fan.
really?
Because I was just,
You're
I was
like, I
still,
don't need
you were one
I
of those
was
guys
still,
who are like, this doesn't need it, and that's fair.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a fair thing.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
still very much in that camp, and I'm not fully out of it. It's like they didn't need to do.
Oh,
a remake.
absolutely,
But
yeah.
it's amazing. But whatever.
I feel
like,
that way with Last of Us like series, basically.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I played the demo because I was like not even sure if I was gonna get it and play
No,
it.
that makes sense,
But then
yeah.
I played the demo for like 10 seconds.
I got it.
And it was like Leon kicks the fucking dude into the wall and like bricks fall out of the wall and he then like he calls Hunnigan and like even seeing Hunnigan I was like, oh my god, that's Hunnigan. Like I was like freaking out
Hunnigan.
over the dumbest shit. And
No,
like
that's awesome.
it was just like the whole game was like that for me. And okay, so to tie it back into something we can actually all talk about, not just me freaking out about this stupid bullshit. I loved what they did. This ties into the knives and just the characters and stuff like that. I loved the Krauser fights.
Yeah,
I thought
me
that
too.
was
They
so
were
they
awesome.
turned the QTE fight into
Yeah.
like. It's still kind of like QTE-ish because
Yeah.
But you're blocking. Yeah,
but
it's
you're actually
active
doing
blocking.
it.
Yeah. And I love the design of the original in the sense of like, because it's like QTs were still new then, and people were like, "This shit is awesome."
alright.
And they
Yeah.
kept hitting the plagas in the El Gigante.
Oh yeah, you jump on them. I was like,
I
let's
was
go.
like, how else are we supposed to do it?
Yeah.
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah, so like I love the Krauser fight because it was like, yeah, it took it from this QTE thing and it made it like an actual fight. And it's like you can like parry or you can go after him and like it feels like a genuinely like mechanically interesting
knife
moment.
fight. Yeah,
you know?
it's cool.
It's
I
it's
agree.
really cool. And you can fucking destroy him. Like if you play it again and you know what you're doing, you can just parry everything
Instead of
and
like,
just be like,
you're on your guard and you're like,
What's our favorite and or least favorite boss fight?
I think so have you guys
Salazar
seen,
was probably my least favorite.
have you seen, I was about to talk about Salazar. It's not necessarily my favorite or my least favorite. I thought it was cool.
I like the boss fights, but I don't like how they're reading you an entire novel during the fight. And the only reason I know what they said is because I died a lot. So I get
the Salazar one, I did think I loved
Interesting.
it. I loved the Salazar fight, and I'm just I loved hearing him talk and say all that stupid shit. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I do agree.
Mid-fight.
I did not know what the fuck he was saying.
Yeah, I'm okay. But I'm okay, this is the 7th time.
Yeah,
I could hear I could
Yeah.
hear bits and pieces of it, and what I heard I loved, but I definitely was I can't pay attention.
He's
to
like,
this.
Leon, you're the actor in my play.
Yeah, stuff
yeah.
like
But
this.
he's, kind of
This will
talking
be
about
your
him.
final show.
He's
Yeah.
interesting what they did with the original versus him now.
And they
He was a
gave-
little
and
Napoleon
they
guy
gave,
in the
first
first
one,
one, right? Yeah.
They took his hat away in the remake, and they gave it to what's the fuck his name? Mendez, the chief.
oh
the priest.
the big cheese.
Yeah, the big G's.
Yeah.
From the original. the big G. I'm surprised they didn't keep that.
There's an achievement or a trophy that
kill him and it's a
references
big
it.
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that was so funny in the original game because Leon like Luis says that as a joke, and then for the rest of the game, Leon's big cheese. He's saying it deadly seriously,
it's
that's his
oh,
actual
the
name.
big cheese. Yeah.
Big cheese.
But did you guys see the thing with the Salazar fight where there's a file that says something about how he's allergic to eggs?
No, but I know if you hit him with an egg, it kills
If you
him, right?
hit him with a golden egg, it's almost an instant kill. If you hack into
So
the games,
stupid.
somebody made a mod where it's got damage numbers and
Yeah,
stuff,
and
and
you-
it does 3/4 of his health bar. So if you go in with 2 golden eggs,
It's
you
a
insta-
challenge, right?
So you can get 1 golden egg
At the beginning near the lake,
yeah,
right?
the lake thing, and then if you go back to the throne room, there's chickens by his throne for some
they
reason.
lay one?
And there's a golden egg in there as well.
okay.
So if you just go in with 2 golden eggs, you can end it in less than 3
I'm gonna
seconds.
get one of them for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know
Sure.
the golden egg strap?
I already used one. I already used one for the quest or whatever.
Yeah.
How do
Oh,
we feel?
yeah.
Were those in the original? Those things for the
No, they
merchant?
weren't. I generally liked them.
Well, they kind of were. The blue medallions were.
The blue medallions were, but
Not-
that was
But not
a
the other stuff.
yeah,
Where you
yeah. There
return
was
in
no
the spinels or whatever.
spinels. There was
Spinel,
no.
spinel.
I think it's Spinel. I
Spinel.
really like the loot system too. Putting all the gem, you have the different
Honestly-
size gems into some of the pieces of loot that you get. Really interesting. It kind of made picking shit up engaging.
Yeah, I like that. Because that's pretty much straight from 4. 4 was pretty much the same, not exactly the same, but there was a lot of if you get this piece and this piece and
You can
combine
slot them into each other.
it's
and
more
then,
valuable.
Yeah, but this one is okay, now you have 3 colors.
Yes,
and,
yeah,
gold
and
is,
I
you know,
loved that shit.
Yeah,
I
did too.
think
I
that's
was into
just
that.
it
Oh,
makes
for sure.
for such
maximize profit.
I feel like that's the thing that I think is so flawless about this game is that no part of it is not fun, excluding one little section, which I'll mention.
The boss fights are hard.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
On
But it's
hardcore, I was like, this
yeah.
is
A
tough.
professional, some of them have been pretty tough so far.
Everything from menuing with the attache case and selling stuff, combining items, stuff like that. It's all so well thought out.
And it's mechanically sound again. It
Yeah,
works
yeah.
like butter. You
And
can
the
combine
fucking-
everything in your case and stuff.
The shooting range is
So much fun.
Yeah. Oh my
Movies
god.
are rubbish. It makes no difference.
I've heard that so many
No,
fucking
dude, it's
times.
good. Honestly, I would
yeah.
love to see a fucking one of my favorite parts of the
Ashley sitting on there.
the VR
little
port of
barrel.
it was you could go do the
shooting
shooting
range,
range.
yeah.
And I will say mechanically that game is so much fun the way if you have your pistol, you have
Yeah.
your pistol on your hip, your shotgun on your back, your healing on your shoulder. It all is a very mechanically sound game. And man, if they made a VR port for this game, no one would play it sadly, but it would be
Dude,
really
I would
cool.
I would do anything to play.
Oh my God.
But I
thought they
wish it
are.
could-
Or did they announce
Really?
that fully?
Well,
I
they're
don't know.
doing it for Village.
I mean,
well, they did it for
They
Village.
did it for Village. It's a full.
If you
and it
don't
is
know
set
that,
up
then
like
maybe
that.
it's not true.
I don't know.
think
I
that's
mean,
official.
I could see them
I've heard
doing
people
it. I
talking
mean,
about-
they data mined it and shit, and apparently, do you guys know about the separate ways thing?
No.
I was gonna comment on why the fuck Separate Ways and Assignment Ada aren't in this game.
Yeah, so I think that they're gonna do a DLC because they hint at it with the yeah.
Why not
It
just
depends
release it
if
with
they're
the game?
gonna just
So
add it or.
RE4 had 2 DLCs in place.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one called Separate Ways, which is so funny because they directly reference it in this game. There's one part where at the end, Ada's I guess we'll go our separate ways. And
Yeah,
it's
and I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
a Miami Vice. Yeah!
it was really. I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do because
Yeah.
I would love to play as Ada in this version.
Have
of the
you played
game.
Mercenaries?
Yeah.
I was really just one, why did they add it in late? And two, why not add trophies?
I wonder if they, that is
Very
interesting.
strange.
I wonder if there was some kind of, like, I wonder if they didn't add it for a week because they were working on it to the last minute, or if they didn't add it because of, like, spoiler reasons or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's like, you get to play as...
You could do that in the second one, too, but it would give you a spoiler tag, basically, if you didn't.
Yeah.
It would be like, we suggest playing this after the game is over.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
it will spoil main
I wonder-
story issues
Right,
or
with,
something like
Hunk.
that.
Well, I think that, can't you,
Fucking love Hunk.
I think you had to beat the original. I could be wrong, but I think
Maybe
you
you
had to
did.
beat the
You
original
might have had
get
to. Yeah,
Mercenaries.
that would make sense. That would make sense to me, actually.
But Mercenaries is super fun. It's
I
like
want to give it a
really
shot.
cool.
That's basically you're just running through
It's
the
like a
parts of the
score
level.
tag.
Yeah,
score
I mean,
tag.
if Resident Evil 4 is like your game, like that's the game you're playing for like the rest of the year. I mean, you could have so much fun with it.
Yeah. I will say I've already gotten my full money's worth out of this game.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
like even just playing
I mean,
it, like, but I'm gonna keep playing.
I
That's the
feel
nice
like
part.
that's I feel like it's the perfect game for like if you're like I mean the perfect game for a middle schooler these days is like fucking Fortnite, but the like
Our
I
age,
feel like
especially.
I
Yeah,
feel
like
like if
middle
you could
school
go back in
definitely.
time and give this to myself in like 7th grade,
I mean, it came
Well,
out.
dude,
when
I
we
will
were
it would
say
be the
younger.
only game I needed
And,
for
like,
like the whole year, you know.
Don't get me wrong;
Yeah,
these
I know,
remakes
right?
are not necessarily needed, and you could still go play those like
Mm.
Dead Space and Resident Evil, and they would still hold up very well. But I think that does show you these remakes are just those games were just so ahead of their time in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and just a way of like these games are mostly the same for the most part, except for we're just mechanically updating it to feel smooth and good.
Yeah,
in today's
especially
world. Like
Dead Space. Seems
Exactly,
crazy,
yeah, for sure. It's insane. It really is.
One of my negatives for RE4 in terms of narrative department, Sadler's still a fucking nothing character.
Yeah,
nothing.
To
No-
me, that's just Resident Evil.
So he,
like,
was
I feel like
he was a doctor at the place.
That's what I was
right?
just going to talk about because I
Okay.
feel like there's so much lore involving this village and the Los Illuminados that is there and they like lightly talk about,
Yeah.
but it's never like fully expounded upon. I'm like, what? Okay, like why is this village looks like they're out of the 1800s?
Yeah.
It's fucking early O's. Like I'm just like like what happened? Like Luis is part of an umbrella team and we know that. But I'm just like I'm so interested to hear like. How did this village like change into this cult? Like, how
Yeah.
did they all?
When
like,
did
I
they
mean,
start
there's
also?
Yeah.
definitely like
There's notes.
I
but
think there's
it's, like,
enough
not
to kind of piece it together.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
I
think so too.
just kind of want more in the game.
I
Not-
like- yeah.
not like it's like the MGS5 tapes. I would have liked if these tapes were like actually.
Yeah,
in
well, the
game.
MGS5
Dude,
tapes
don't
is like
you
egregious.
Bloodborne?
Yeah,
And
but
there's-
it's a different. That's a different kind of game.
Hold on. No, I don't.
Like
agree.
I feel like I
agree.
feel like I feel the same. Like I don't know. Like I feel like it's almost like Doom. Like if you guys were do you guys like the new Doom games?
I did actually.
I do
yeah.
like. I've only played 26.
But I have
I-
had a conversation, I think, about a similar thing that you might just
So
bring
like
up, ma'am.
the first new Doom game, there was very minimal kind of story
Like
stuff.
lore building.
they
and
were
stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then the
right.
second one, they leaned into it so hard. And I feel like to me, Resident Evil 4 is kind of similar to Doom. I mean, Doom in the way that it's like very like the combat is so fun, and you just want to keep doing it, and it's like next
That's
room,
really
more
what you're
combat.
there for.
Yeah.
You're there for the gameplay.
See,
So, like-
I do like the world of RE.
Yeah, so do I as well, for sure. But to me, I feel like the pacing is just like excellent. Like I feel like that's why it's so replayable.
The island still drags for me.
I would
Dude,
agree.
I feel like
for
that-
me, it did hit a bit of a snag
I
there for me.
can see that, but to me, the
The
island.
regenerators.
Oh, but
fucking-
I love that part.
They're
I
weird
love that
looking.
part,
They
dude.
are.
They're
I
so
feel
they-
like
they're
they are
disturbing.
creepy.
I
Yeah.
love that because especially on new game, like the first time you play it,
Well,
like the
that was
first time
the
I played
also-
it, I think it took me like 20 hours. 'Cause
I
was
didn't
taking it so
understand how
slow.
to beat them either.
Yeah.
I didn't know I needed to use the
Well, that's
scope.
what
Yeah.
I love about it is that like. At that point in the game, you're very powerful. You've got like all your shit upgraded and stuff, and then it's
I was fiending for ammo, man.
oh yeah, no, I
By
was
the end of
too.
the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were playing on hardcore though.
Yeah,
too.
but like,
like, what
I
the
love
fuck?
that they can still at that far into the game bring it back and have such an actually scary moment. Like I was
Oh, yeah.
freaking the fuck
Oh,
out.
dude, when
I first
when
got
they
to
walk
that.
out for the first time, I'm like, whoa! I literally gave, like,
and
a-
it's designed so well because it's like you have to get the key card and then you open that door and then he's there and
Yeah.
like you're probably gonna shoot at him a million times.
And that's the thing, you knock him down, and I'm like, oh, he's down.
Yeah,
I
and he just
know
keeps
he isn't.
going.
And I'm like,
and then
oh,
it's like
fuck.
even if you can't kill him, like you have to go to the other room, but then it's like you have to go turn the power back on. So
and
they've
he's
got
still
you
there, and
like
he's just following you around
yeah.
all the time.
I
like
just
this
love that they've got
backtracking,
you
like,
frantically running
puzzle.
around. Yeah.
So that was the only part where I did kind of lag for a second,
Hmm.
and once I got past the regenerators and I kind of figured out actually how to kill them.
I
that's
can
where
see
picked back
that,
up.
and because it's like 4 definitely. as much as I love it, the original kind of drags at that point too. Like,
Also-
the
Yeah.
island is the worst part of the game.
I just think environmentally, it's just such a start. Like,
And then it's like,
there's
palatial estate and this
zombies
dingy,
with guns and armor.
they look like
it's like, what the fuck's going on?
It's just a
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
change of pace. You go from this really dingy, like rough village to
Yeah,
this
it is a
sparkly
weird-
palace that's really cool, and then you go to this military base on an island.
it's the least exciting of the three.
I'm curious why they took out the U3 fight.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a
I
boss
feel like
that they took out of the game, and he's kind of like a Scorpion King looking.
it's very scary. It's honestly one of the most tense parts of the original
Wait, the
game.
guy in the burning barn, is it different from that?
No,
it looks
Hernandez.
like if you've played Fallout, it looks like
A centaur.
yes, yeah, like the weird freaky,
really?
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
and it's
interesting.
referenced in one of the notes that the dude who becomes what the fuck's the fucking
Mendez or
Verador? Is that what it's called?
Verdugo.
Verdugo.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Verdugo.
yeah.
He that doctor, whoever turned into that, like mentions like he was working on it,
Which looked, oh my god,
and then
like
Salazar robot is gone, which is like
that was the one thing. Like I feel like,
Like,
that
how
was
are they gonna do
I
this?
definitely was going into this not trying to be like this is different or like whatever.
oh, they did this.
But but the one thing I was like, man, I wish that giant
But it's like
robot
it
was
shoots
still
the
in there.
flames.
Yeah,
They do
yeah.
put
I
it in
see.
there.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
nice, but I love the part where he runs away from the because it's like so
So
funny. Like,
dumb.
why
Yeah,
would
it's
he
just so
build this
silly.
giant robot?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just-
why would this Spanish 1800s cult be building this?
I like
fucking
an
thing?
automaton. Like,
Yeah, it's
that's
real good.
That's great.
But yeah, it's through and through. RE4 is still RE4, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like everything just like I was just so blown away with how much was like I feel like with so many remakes things get cut obviously,
For sure.
but like so much of that game is in here and like
Yeah, I don't like say like, oh, I miss the
Yeah.
U3 fight, or I miss the fucking
yeah
They seem to know where to trim.
it would have been
Right.
cool. I would have loved to see the take on that in this game.
Yeah, it
to
would
be
have been
clear,
funny.
Yeah,
as like a nostalgia fan.
yeah.
They'd be
No,
like,
I mean like the U3 fight. I feel like
Oh,
that
yeah,
would have been
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
But like I love like the stuff that
And they
is
did
in
add
there.
other stuff,
Like
too.
like every character design looks so good. Like the Verdugos are fucking freakish in this one. They're so creepy. Like the
Which ones are the Verdugos?
So it's like his bug men. Like his like
Yeah.
Oh, the scorpion
yes,
men?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
those
you have
things
to
are-
the
fight
guy
one.
that you can skip. You
Yes.
don't have to
Oh,
kill
so
him.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
kill him.
You can skip him.
I
yeah.
did.
Yeah, if you got the
I-
infinite launcher, he's literally one shot.
I killed him. It was sad.
I didn't
I
realize
killed him
that.
as
I'm gonna
well.
kill him
and
this
it's also
time
a
because
trophy, like it is.
Yeah. But
Gooch, you got me trophy hunting. What the fuck happened?
yeah,
Anyway,
dude.
yeah, like-
I only do it for like I feel like I'm less like trophy hunting. Like I'm not really doing that as much these days. But for some reason when a Resident Evil comes out, it's
Gotta
like
get 'em all.
it's I gotta get them all literally.
Gotta
Like,
get 'em all.
There are certain games that I'm realizing, like, all right, I'm really enjoying this.
Mm.
This platinum seems attainable.
like Dead
Yeah.
Space.
Like Dead Space,
Yeah.
where I was like, all right,
Common
I want,
theme.
and,
And
it's like-
even Sifu, I platinum that. So
Yeah.
like,
it's
I
also
really enjoyed
nice.
them.
Like
and they
I'm-
were within reach. There wasn't anything on those trophies where I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna spend hours and not like days just trying to do the stupid thing that I could fuck up and then not get it.
I feel like I'm probably similar to you guys in the sense that like I'm like kind of way too into keeping up with games and like way
That's
too
true.
yeah way too interested in like what's the game of the year, what's the best
Yeah.
game this year, stuff like that. So it's nice when a game like this comes out that really cuts through everything for me,
Yeah.
and it's like this is the only game I really want to be playing right now. Like,
Now-
I'm not worried about other shit that's
We've
coming
had
out.
this debate.
so much.
Are remakes reasonable choices? I feel like we've talked about this before.
Would you consider this game for a game of the year? No.
Oh,
No.
I would.
It's too close.
I think I would. I mean, just-
that's the difference between like FF7 and the remake. Like
Yeah.
it's a totally different game. Yeah, I would consider the remake.
to
like
me-
this, it's like
To
we had
me,
it.
I think that this is a totally different game in the sense of like the game design
Gooch,
here.
do you think you still? I'm sorry.
No, you're
continue.
right. You're right.
I just was saying, Gooch, do you think it's still necessary to play the first, like we were saying earlier?
No.
Like you don't.
To
you
me,
think that
okay. I feel like I'm a special case because I'm obsessed with these games.
Of course.
But to me, I feel like yes, only because it's surely like there's similar locations and like the series of events is very similar. But like the two games in like design and feel are so different.
Would
like,
you say the same thing about RE2 and 3?
What, from the original games?
Like, would you have to play the originals?
You wouldn't have. Okay, so I don't think you have to.
Yeah,
But
I think that's what we're.
if
I'm
no,
sorry,
that's what you're
no,
saying.
that's a wrong way to put
Okay.
it. I think it's like, do you think it's still worthwhile?
Oh
Yeah,
because
yeah,
whereas
yeah,
like
yeah.
yes.
with Dead Space, I don't.
No,
like,
yeah,
you
that-
don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to go back and play the old games.
it's
that
true.
was the point.
Like,
Especially
whereas like
'cause
this
the-
is its own experience to a degree. That I guess that's what makes it a new experience to
And
me.
that's
and
why
allows me-
I brought up those 3 remake
Exactly,
comparisons, because it's
exactly.
like, why would you play the original Dead
Yeah.
Space? You have a really just better version.
This year is
No.
very interesting with that because it's like, I mean, remakes are obviously like, you know,
they're
prevalent.
but it's like there you've got like Dead Space, which is like as close as you could get pretty much with some
Basically, yeah,
changes.
yeah.
But then there's like, I don't know if you guys probably didn't play it, but the Metroid Prime remake that came out this year.
No, I haven't. I want to.
They call it a remaster, but it's literally just a remake.
a remake, yeah, it's a good play, yeah.
But it's like that is 1-to-1. There is not
Yeah, there's
one
not a
difference.
different thing.
For better or for worse, like that game's fucking annoying as fuck sometimes.
Yeah,
like
but
yeah.
it just looks HD and it looks it's
Yeah.
an Unreal
Right.
whatever. Yeah,
And that's an excellent game, but I feel like I love like the sort of reimagining take that the
Yes, I
Resident
do
Evil
too.
stuff has been
Well,
doing.
and I do think certain games call for it.
yeah, yeah.
And especially,
Yeah,
and,
like Final
but
Fantasy
we are
VII.
getting to the cuff of
I'm-
like, so do they remake 5?
So this is what I was just about to
No.
say. This is
It'll
what I
be
was
a
just
fucking-
about to
it'll
say.
fucking be a
I think they're going
politically
to.
correct
I-
nightmare. You
I
kill
think
black
that-
people in Africa, dude.
I
There's
think
no
that-
way of getting around it.
I mean, I feel like
But that's not because they're black. It's because
Oh,
the-
dude,
the
it was
game
a
is-
big deal when it came out.
the game is definitely. I mean, I'm like, you know, very libtarded, you might say.
Get the fuck out of here.
but the, 5 would
I like how you
5
said it.
I like
would-
that self-description.
5 is certainly like a nightmare when it
Right.
comes to that, and like absolutely problematic. Like there's
Really?
like
I'm curious.
yeah,
So what is it like? Why, okay,
There's
There's
why is it?
nothing
I'm curious.
racist about it. It's
I mean,
just the fact that
well, they're definitely like. I mean, we don't need to get into all that.
I'm just
but,
saying.
but like,
it's an interesting conversation.
No, okay,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
funny.
I mean,
in RE4, you go to Spain and kill a bunch of Spanish people.
No, so that
Yeah,
was the thing.
yeah,
So
but-
is it,
but
is
to
it
me,
more
like-
the idea is that it's the undertones of that game because of what you're doing,
Well,
or is it
like,
outright? Like,
in Resident Evil 5, like, I mean, I don't really
just
want
give
to
me
get
one.
super.
Can you give me one example? Of
So
it? That's
like
it. That's
the lore of Resident Evil 5 is that like in Africa, like these people were like once a normal civilization, and then like
oh yeah, there's tribal people.
yes, yeah, and then like some infection comes in and it like reverts them to their like tribal state, and they're all like wearing like, you know what you would see in like a literal African tribe and
Yeah.
stuff, and you're like shooting them in the fucking head. It just
Yeah.
definitely is like a little
they are- but
uncomfortable.
it
But
is
at
supposed to be
first, you're
like-
killing random normal civilians, and
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
get to the tribal people. It is
Yeah,
kind of odd.
and they and
But
the
the
idea
thing-
is they
That
are still
is
some.
problematic.
Okay, interesting. I don't
Yeah,
know. Again,
yeah.
I really don't know much about
So
that
it's
game.
like, I don't know. The thing is, like, I would personally love to see how they would remake 5.
Code Veronica first.
Yeah, that
why
would be
not?
cool.
Do you guys think they should do one like legitimate?
Well, the thing is,
I know
one,
there is a remake
I,
of like,
I,
but
I think I would love, like, honestly, any, like, I think I would love to do one, because one is still a great game.
That's
if you
what I
can,
mean.
if you can get
Dude,
down
that
with it.
RE remake is so.
It's
but
so
that's what I'm
good,
saying, like,
and
I
that
feel-
itself is a remake. but-
exactly. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. So,
yeah.
but like, I feel like that one just leaves so much on the cutting room floor for like interpretation.
we went
to a
2
degree.
to 3 to 4,
and the way
now
of
we're
like
going back to 1.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, why did we leave that? And I get
I
it,
mean-
there's an HD remake, but like it just feels like maybe a missed opportunity to really kind of.
sure.
Yeah.
I would love one. Bigly,
Bigly.
as
I like
Bigly.
it, yeah.
I would also,
Bigly.
I would also love 5, even though it would be
just to see
a,
how they
a
do
nightmare.
it. No,
yeah, it would
when
be
was
horrible.
that game made?
But
when was it made?
Like, when did it come
I
out?
think it came out in like 2009.
2008, 2009.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
like-
yeah, that's
and
still
like,
within somewhat reason.
One of,
there's
there's a video of one of the voice actors, because it was controversial when it came out that like you're going
Really?
to Africa and you're killing black people, and it's like, and
But
the
again,
voice
I don't
actors-
think that
the
on
voice
its
actor
face is-
who is
yeah.
black is like. It's like, I don't really see the problem. You're going to Africa and killing black people. Like, it's like.
Yeah, but I
Like,
feel like
See,
that's the-
hold on.
But
On your
when I
face, when
say
you
it-
say it like that, though, I don't think they're real because they're not going there to specifically kill
Yeah.
black people. It's the way that you're saying it and the way it reverts them back to their tribal instincts.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
gets
I
a
feel
little
like
one
weird.
part of it,
yeah,
yeah.
Because
Which they would have to
on
rework.
face value, I'm going to Spain to kill a bunch of Spanish people.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
sound like just sounds
When you
like
say it
that's
like
not,
that, yeah.
but it's not
But
specifically.
that's what you are doing.
But it's
Yeah,
but again,
it's
but it's
true, yeah.
because
You're
they're
killing like
infected
a,
with.
me, I just feel like there's
a non-modernized
Yeah.
Spanish
Again,
village.
I assume in
I
Resident-
just feel like there's definitely like a history to consider
No,
versus
absolutely.
the other
And,
one.
like, how
and
we
that
do
was
this?
made by
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Japanese studio. studio, right? That maybe is
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's
maybe
an
they're
old
just like
game.
thinking of like, well, we just set this in
but
Africa, and like we didn't even think about
The only reason
it.
I really would love, I would love to see it like completely reimagined in like a completely different way.
Yeah.
But the only
Not
reason
sure how they would do it.
Yeah, I don't know either. The only reason I would really like to see a 5 remake is because I would love to have one of these new ones, but co-op. Like, I would love to play co-op
Yeah.
of this game,
I
you know?
would, yeah. That would
See,
be true.
I would imagine they like that was like a big identity of RE5 was the co-op. I feel like they would have to keep that.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing, and I do think co-op's one of those things you need to build that game from the ground up, knowing it's co-op. Whereas like this, I don't know. You'd have to change it. I feel like
the
pretty
whole game would have to
significantly
change. You'd have to
to
rebalance
make it
it.
into a co-op centric game.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think that would be cool. Where's 6 set? What is 6 about?
It's all over the place, ain't it?
6
Oh,
is
that's
so
right.
stupid.
It's a bunch of different
You play as
stories.
like
Jake Wesker.
I don't think they could ever get to the point where they remade 6 unless it was just like
Yeah,
a
6
different game.
People like 5. People really don't like.
Yeah,
6.
there's not.
6 is
there's
like
only
what-
there's only like a small pool of 6 apologists who are like this game's
Yeah,
actually
it's
cool.
6 apologists.
we did not talk
Those
about.
narcs.
I did bring up Jake Wesker. We didn't talk about Wesker at the end. Which
Yeah.
I loved. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck
It was cool
yeah.
to see him.
I
Yeah.
was like, I enjoy Wesker.
Yeah, it's good
and
stuff.
all his fucking stupidity.
Yeah, I love Wesker. I feel like I'm
global.
Don't be afraid to come up on this. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah,
It's just
sorry.
a-
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
don't-
just
don't leave.
fucking all over
Yeah,
the place.
no, it's all right.
Yeah, I loved that last scene with Wesker. I'm interested if they'll do separate ways because
And
Wesker's
he,
a way
I mean,
bigger part.
obviously,
The Journey song? No, I'm kidding.
no,
I know.
And also like
separate ways.
like
Yeah. I was like,
the fact that they have like an actor and a model for Wesker now,
great.
it makes me feel like they are gonna dip into like 5.
That's
maybe.
what makes I do think
right,
so
and he
too.
don't know.
references what he's gonna do in 5,
But
like
to-
hardcore.
yeah.
I don't think he does that in 4.
No,
Not as
maybe he
not
does.
As like
I wish
I'm
that,
going to
Maybe
sell
you
it
do
to
5,
the
but they
highest
just-
bidder.
I
Maybe
wish
they just
that.
don't- No, I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
No. I wish that I had replayed 4 before coming on, so I could be more up
Like
to
the
date with-
original?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't remember
That was
Wesker.
the same with me with Dead Space.
Yeah.
I
I was
remember
don't
Wesker
this
just
much at
being
all.
like, "Yeah, I'm good. This is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
kill trillions of people.
Yeah,
Billions of deaths?
Trillions."
There are trillions of people
And then
on
he takes his glasses off, and it's like fucking from the movie The Outsider remix.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
good. No,
yeah.
it's really good.
It's also it would funny to see 5 remake because in 5 like Wesker is like essentially just Neo from the Matrix.
I mean, dude, Chris Redfield has to punch a boulder.
Yeah,
Again,
that's true.
I
They
think
have
you
to
can
keep that.
probably
Yeah.
rework that, and maybe you just change it. They don't go tribal. Maybe
Yeah.
you have
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
no,
honestly,
that's
you know what I
easy.
mean? Like
people
that's what,
would
like,
get
I
upset.
think-
People would be like,
Well,
"This
look,
is completely unfair." But I feel like they should
It's
just not
PC
go to
gone mad.
fucking
What the
Africa.
fuck?
Like I
And then
feel like
they end up turning into like
a
normal
different
soldiers.
game. So like,
yeah, like I feel like
You know,
they should
they
just
go-
go,
they go
to a
to the
different
island
spot.
again.
I
But
feel
then
like they
again,
should
you're
just make it a
making-
different place.
it's just in China this time instead. But it's the exact same thing, and everyone's like, "This is fine."
Nah, dude, I think its location kind of makes like gives it not charm, but gives it like an aesthetic.
I think
Yeah,
there's a
for
way
sure.
to probably do that story, and
and
yeah,
I
just you
love
don't have
Sheva.
them.
I love
Yeah,
Sheva.
Sheva was great.
And she's a character that never returns to RE
Yeah.
after that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Who
I-
do you play as Sheva and
Chris.
Chris
and
Redfield.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jill is in it.
Interesting.
Yes, in like a really interesting way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That game was so fun to play. There's just so many stupid reveals.
I remember trying to play it when I was too young, and it was just too hard.
I remember
I was
playing
like,
the
I
demo
can't do
for RE5
I do
on
too.
360.
Yeah, dude, that first whole level is like, dude, it's so chaotic. It's
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
insane.
I don't know, man.
Anything else, gentlemen?
I feel
I'm
like
trying to think. I don't think we missed anything like major. There's always something.
There's always gonna be something.
But
I don't know. I feel like to cap it off, I guess if that's what we're doing, I feel like how do I say it? Inside of me,
Inside of you.
there
Yes.
are 2 wolves.
Okay.
okay.
One of them is like a monocle wearing,
Top hat.
top hat wearing, intellectual.
Sure.
Who's like, video games are the most perfect medium
Of
because
art, yes.
because there are so many original ideas, and while the AAA space has become quite stagnant recently, so many indies are released that I'll find something new and interesting every day. And then the other part of me is like a guy on the couch in just his underwear who's like cracking a PBR and starting his 15th playthrough of Resident Evil 4 remake, being like, they don't make them like this anymore.
Yeah, like you're like on
It's so
you're like
true.
you're standing on the couch like kind of like squatting like this like you're not even sitting.
And that is the duality of remakes.
Yeah,
Honestly,
duality of
in general, of, like the duality of man.
The duality of Nick Matarazzo.
I hate that we can't just get some new things, and it does frustrate me that we are kind of dipping back into the well here. But I will give Capcom a little bit of a pass in the fact of they've been keeping going with this series while giving you a new way to play these old gems. And really enjoy them.
And like you said, the original is still accessible. You can play it on
it's there.
PS5.
They didn't just
it's not
be
the
like,
PS5 version, but yeah.
No, for sure.
It's a PS4
They're
version.
really
It's
good
enough.
with all of their... Capcom especially is just on such a roll. Like,
unlike
they had a
Evil-
pretty large bounce back after Resident Evil 2, right? And 7. Like I feel like before that it wasn't. They weren't doing the best.
Hunter,
7 was kind of like their comeback because that was the first game I believe with the RE engine.
Yep.
And everyone was like, "Oh, RE's back."
Yeah. And then it was like. They did 2 and 8, and I loved 8 as well. I mean, whatever.
I'm excited to get to 7
I
and
actually
8.
want to replay 8 now because of this.
Yeah, well, it almost feels like they were like practicing for this
I
one.
agree,
Like
I
feel
agree.
like there's so many assets and little details and
you're
the
right.
castle
They
and
do
stuff.
a lot. You know, they got experience.
Well,
under
dude,
their
even
belt.
like Village, it is just so funny replaying this. Like I said earlier, like how clearly inspired it is.
Yeah,
by that.
it's like it's remarkable that 8 doesn't just feel like a complete rip off.
Rip off for sure.
Wait, has complete rip off of what? What do you mean?
Of the original 4.
8 it feels so
right,
well
yeah,
aesthetically like you start in the woods, you run into a village,
and
then
you end up in the
castle,
factory,
and then you go into a factory. I mean, it literally is like they are really taking hard inspiration from it, and it works so well. It does.
So fuck the remakes. I wonder what the next Resident Evil game is going to be. I think they really
I'm
need
a little bit worried. Like I feel like
are they going to bring back like their main cast? I know Chris is in
so
them a lot, but like
8 ended with like Ethan, whatever, spoilers.
And then there's the DLC with Mia.
Yes, which I actually didn't play.
That's her name, right?
No, Rose.
Rose,
Yeah. I actually didn't play that. I heard it was not very good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
But that seems to be the case with
Their
Resident
DLCs
Evil. Like,
usually aren't the best.
they just make like an incredible game, and then they're like, "Here's a season pass with 3 DLCs," and they're
That
all
aren't
like,
that
What year is
amazing.
it?
yeah.
No, I agree with that. 100%.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested in the future of Resident Evil, of course, because I just want to play them. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like who knows really where they're gonna go? Like it could be like a 9, or it could be another remake.
9 is absolute. Well, I think 9 is that it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
that happens, I don't know. And
But
I could
I
see
wonder,
them
like-
going fully third or and first person.
Yeah,
in the
like
way of,
I'm wondering
you
if
can
they're
choose.
gonna go. That's what I was thinking. I wonder if the next one is gonna be a new third person one. Like,
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, like
or have the option.
Yeah,
Exactly, like I
yeah.
was saying, yeah. Like I think that
I
would be
would
a big.
Fallout, Skyrim. You can do both.
I would be super interested to see. Because there's a fair amount of new game design that's gone into the remakes, including 4 and 2 and 3 as well. Even though people didn't like 3 as much, but I kind of liked it.
3, it's just so short.
Yeah, like,
That's
I think
really its biggest
it's
issue.
a very
Yeah,
solid game,
yeah,
but it's
for
not
sure.
very long. But I feel like from what they've learned from remaking these games, I would love to see them make like a classic
The more
third
even classical
person
style, yeah.
Resident Evil in the style of 2 and 3.
I think the issue is there's so many different ways they can go.
I know,
It's kind of
yeah.
like hard to predict.
Yeah, it really
know?
is.
I truly believe it'll be a hybrid in the way. It's
like,
you're
okay,
gonna be
do
able
we-
to
do we
both.
bring,
It just
like,
feels like interesting. I don't know.
Claire really hasn't had a game since Code Veronica. Do we bring back Claire? Well, Jill's always been this just like in this weird like save me, Wesker has me kind of issue. Like there's Chris is in everything now. Who else do we got? Fucking Rebecca. We haven't seen her since fucking 0.
Yeah.
Like they also have to like consider like, are we gonna do like a full new
that's like
cast of characters?
that
Are we
also
gonna-
interests me with because I was always waiting for the moment because in 7 at the end of 7
Bless you.
Chris shows up. Yeah, bless you. Sorry. At the end of 7 Chris shows up, and then 8 Chris is like a major part of that game.
Right, yeah.
But I'm always wondering if they're ever going to do a new story in
Centered.
there that like imagine if Leon came back or something like
Yeah, even Leon.
yeah, or
I mean,
like
he's
even
in
Jill
6,
or
but-
anybody.
What's his last known position within the Resident
I mean,
Evil
if they,
universe?
it seems like they're trying to make
this movie that's coming out.
Oh, right.
It
Dead
depends
Island?
on
Is
what
that
they.
it's
I
called?
don't know what the fuck canon is for Resident Evil. Like,
No, I don't. Those movies are canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those cutscenes in this one cutscenes are amazing. And some of them just straight up look like one
Like
of those movies.
So when I saw a picture from the movie, I was like, "Oh, is this like an after credit scene that I missed from the game?"
Yeah.
Literally, it was. That's so funny.
Like
I
the
just think
scene-
exact same
Infinite
thing.
Darkness sucked, by the way.
The scene
Yeah.
where
I remember you saying that.
the fucking
Sit
where
up.
It's okay.
Oh,
the
yeah,
mic.
sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
so bad.
It's okay.
the scene where Leon's trapped in that cage in the castle, and before you play as the Ashley segment, he like fucking like meat shields one of the fucking guys and like shoots like 10 people. It just looks like one of the ridiculous
John Wick ejects his clip across the room.
Yeah.
Sure.
I loved the cutscenes. They're
stuff.
just so ridiculous.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got real off track, but yeah, I don't really think there's more to say.
Yeah,
RE4 is a great game. I'm sure it's gonna get nominated for an award.
Top sales right now. I mean, it's kicking ass.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, for single player games, sell.
Yeah, dude.
And also, like, maybe some new ones would be great too. But
yeah,
these remakes are fine. So keep them coming. Everyone, thank you so much if you've been watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really appreciate your time. You can follow this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We're even on Apple Music now. Or no, well, it was
Amazon.
Apple Music. Amazon Music, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was a little while ago, but I like to bring it up here and there. I don't know who uses it, but maybe you do.
Yeah,
so
they
check
reached
us
out
out.
to us, man. They were
check
like,
us out
"We
on
want you
there.
on Amazon
Yeah,
Music."
they solicited us. We're
so
getting
funny.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find us on all the social media pages as well at Delco Nerds on basically everything. We got a Discord page, we got a Facebook page as well, our Discord channel, Facebook page as well, all of which will be linked down below. You can get in contact with us, delconerds@gmail.com, with all your comments, questions, or concerns. We'd be happy to get back to you. And you can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. Hey, if you can tell a friend about the podcast, like, share, subscribe, it goes a long way. It helps us out here. We really appreciate it. We've been seeing some slightly larger numbers on some of our videos, and it's been really great to see. Our John Wick one is really doing well. So thank you all so much. If you've been telling your friends, it's very much appreciated. But for Gooch, for Nick, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.